Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a good day. This is Benjamin from Jamin Studios coming back at you with another GODOT video. And in today's video, we'll be discussing collision layer and masks and also continuing the work on the turret, which we're actually going to make the bullet. It's going to fly out of the turret and interact with the player. So if you like today's video, please like it down below. If you like the content that I post out, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any further questions about what I'm doing here and just the content that I'm posting and questions about GODOT and coding and all that sort of stuff, please leave a comment down below. Let's just get some important stuff out of the way. This is a two-parter. This is the second part of the continuation of making this turret. It will take a little bit. And I also have an update on the turret. So let's just pull up the scene here, and let's just play what we got so far. Now you can see that the turret is now aiming at the player whenever I rotate around and move. And the last video, which I've already put a card on screen for it, it was doing a 90-degree angle. So right now it's looking at the player. In the last video, it was at a 90-degree angle away from the player. And I actually figured out the fix to it. I haven't ran into this problem when I was coding because my players would always look to the right. And now I realize that's the way that it should be. Whatever rotation, the rotation has to be 0 going to the right. And that's what I have the line 2D as. It starts here, goes to the right, and that's its rotation 0. I had it right here going down at rotation 0, and I thought, okay, maybe I just put it 90 degrees this way. Maybe that would work. And it did not work. It still acted the same way as before. So now you have to make sure that this way is rotation 0. Now that's the update right there. And now we're just going to jump right into making the bullet, which is going to be shooting out of the turret. So all we're going to do is we're going to create a new scene, and we're going to make an area 2D. Let's call this bullet. Yep. And let's add the usual stuff, sprite. I should have it down here. Oh wait, it's in background, isn't it? Yes. All right, so let's add that there. And then we add in the collision shape 2D. This one is kind of like a square. So that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to do capsule. Give me here. Then we should rotate it 90 degrees. So it acts like that. And that is looking good. So that's what our bullet looks like. Now we got to create a script for it, and I'll be right back with that information. So the first thing we're going to do on the script is we're going to just put the damage on it. I thought there was a little more to what I was doing, but there really isn't. So I'm just going to show you anyways. So we're just going to put damage amount here at the top, a variable. And then we're going to go into the node section of the bullet and area body entered. We're going to want a body entered connected to the bullet. And in here, we're going to queue free. So we're going to delete the object. And then if body dot has method, and the method is take damage, then we want the body to take damage. So what this is saying is that we're going to delete the object. if you have any animations or explosions or anything, you would want to replace the queue free with that set animation right here. And then when the explosion or animation is done, then you want to queue free the object. You don't want to destroy the object and have its animation, because it's going to look a little weird and it won't happen. And then next, we're actually going to give the body damage. So if the body has take damage, but that's going to be our player or any enemy that has a take damage method, then we're going to have them actually take damage. We're going to take health away from them. And that's exactly what this function is doing right here. So we're going to save the scene and save the script. And now the next thing we're going to need to do is go into our current scene, and I do not have it set up. So we're going to put a constant right here, and it's going to be the bullet equals the scene, which is the preload scene. So it's going to be preload res : / oh, my bad. It's going to be that / now where did I put the bullet scene? I put it outside it. So then it's going to be bullet.tsc. Now we got to make sure that we are sending that package through on the chute, which should be right here. So then bullet, that. And now we have our turret script fully completed with the projectile. The only thing now is we need to connect the chute. So we need to go out to the level 1 and make sure we get a script for the level 1 scene before we connect anything. That is important, because if we didn't have a script on the level 1 before we started connecting chute, it wouldn't work. So in the level 1 scene, we're going to go to turret, and we're going to connect the chute to level 1. We're going to do it on chute, not on turret chute, because we can have multiple things actually connect to on chute. We don't need just a turret chute, a player chute, a turtle chute, whatever. So we're going to do on chute right here, replace a bunch of this stuff, and we're going to actually pass 3 things through. So we're going to do pro, which is projectile, then position, and then our direction. Then we're going to make a variable and have it be the instance of the scene. So pro is our bullet, pos is our position, so the position 2D of the turret, and then the dir is the direction the turret is facing. So we're going to instance the scene there. Then we're going to add a child. We're going to add it as a child of the level 1 node. And then we're going to start its position and direction. And now we have that set up. Sorry about that. I actually forgot to do something. We need to go back to the bullet screen before we play the scene, because we forgot to actually make the bullet move. And that start function is actually our very own function. So we're going to do func process delta, and it's going to be position plus equal velocity times delta. We're then going to make a variable called velocity equal vector2 dot 0, and var speed equals 200. And then this is our start function. We're going to carry in the position and direction. And we're going to put in position equals pause, rotation equals dir dot angle, and then velocity equals the direction times speed. Velocity, did I spell it? I did spell it wrong. Wow. Silly me, silly me. And with that, we should be good. Yes, you can see that it is now shooting. And the problem with it right now is that it's detecting something and then disappearing. So then in queue free, we should check to see if body.get name equals player, then queue free. Oh, that's right. I was wondering why it was having that red there. There we go. Now you can see that the bullet shoots away and is now shooting at the player, and it affects the player. And as of right now, it's not affecting. It's not disappearing when it hits the floor. That's because I queue freed it when it hits the player. It will disappear when it hits the player. So now to solve that problem, we're actually going to be working on collision layer and mask layers. And these things are important for high-end games that take in a lot of information. It's really easy to get lost in the programming and the coding. So it's easy to have layers and masks to keep everything organized. And GODOT system layer and mask layers, it's very confusing, but if you get it and understand it, it's pretty easy to work your way around it. And I'm just gonna teach you a little bit about it. So to organize it a little better, let's just go into project settings, and we're gonna scroll all the way down to 2D physics because we're in 2D and we're not rendering in anything, so it's gonna be physics. And our layer 1 is going to be our environment. Layer 2 is going to be our player. Layer 3 is going to be our enemies. Layer 4 is going to be our projectiles. And layer 5 is going to be our collectibles. And then once we have this all set up, we're going to hit close. And basically what a layer is its category. So basically what the object is, that is a layer. So our bullet is a projectile, so we're going to put it under our layer 4, which is named projectile. We're going to put it under that. And you can see the name when you hover over it, you can see that. If you go over to a different one, it says layer 7 because we don't have a name for that. So this is our projectile. This is going to be flying. And then a mask is what category is this object going to interact with. So it is going to interact with the environment. So as soon as it does hit a wall or floor, it's going to then interact with said wall or floor. It's going to disappear. It will interact with our player, and it will do damage to our player. It may, I don't know if it's going to be doing that with the enemies just yet, but we have no enemies, so it's okay if we leave it blank or not blank. We're not going to mess with projectiles. I'm not thinking that it would look pretty cool if two turrets did shoot bullets at each other and they broke off or bounced away from each other, that would be pretty cool. But as of right now in the game, we're just going to leave this blank. And then our collectibles, the only people that are going to interact with the collectibles is the player. Now, if some reason I bring in like the star from Mario Bros, if I bring the star, I think it would be kind of funny if a player or enemy actually walks over and picks up the star and now has the star power abilities and you can't touch it. I think that would be pretty fun, pretty cool, a little interesting as well to how you play. But as of right now, they're not going to be collecting the coins, which is the only collectible we have set up. So then we're going to save that scene for the bullet. We're going to actually leave it open. Then we're going to go over to level 1. And we're just going to work our way down till we finish off the turn. Tiles one way, it is environment. So we're just going to leave it like that. And as is, same thing with tiles solid and the full zone. Those will all remain the same. Now the player. We're going to go into the player scene and actually do this. So our player is not the environment, but it is a player. He will interact with the environment. He's not going to interact with himself as collisions go. He will be interacting with enemies. He will be interacting with projectiles. And he will be interacting with the collectibles. So then we're going to save that and close this scene down. We're then going to go to the coins. The coins in their own scene. They are collectibles. They're going to be interacting with just the player. And so for this instance, you can actually have it, the mask be deleted, but they still have its layer as collectibles. And the only people who are going to actually be interacting with these is the player. So when the player does go into the coins area, it will still be picked up. But this would mean like the coin, it really doesn't matter. It's a little confusing, but it's understandable. Once you do a whole lot of these, it's understandable. But we're just going to do that and leave it as is. So the coins are now good. We're just going to double check. Yes, yes. And now the turret, we're going to go into the turret scene. And it is an enemy. And it will be interacting with the environment and other enemies as well. Now, I do not think that it will be interacting with other enemies. So then the enemies can just walk through it, kind of like it's walking around the turret and not walking just straight through. We'll be interacting with the player, though. The player will not be able to go around it because this is an enemy and it's going to be trying to hurt the player. So the player should interact with it and not be like stuck and hidden around it, so to say. It will be interacting with projectiles, and it will not be interacting with collectibles, so we are not going to highlight it. Now let's open up our scene, and I think the bullet is a little too big. Yeah, it is interacting with the thing in the background, with the floor in the background. So we're going to just shorten that and move it to the front. I think that would be a little better. And it's not. What is keyfreeing it then? It's an area 2D. Static body. Oh wait, oh the turret. Oh. Okay then. Oh, I got you now. Okay, so we're gonna have to go to the turret and take it away, the mask layer of projectiles, and then it should work. Yep. So then the turret is now not interacting with projectiles. and vice versa. That is it for collision layer, but the next thing, which is a pretty easy fix, so let's try and get the guy to here. It's a little difficult, but basically if a bullet gets shot and flown across the screen and it just keeps on going and going and going, that's what's actually going to happen as of right now. But we don't want that to happen, because if a bunch of bullets just start flying away from the player off the screen and doesn't interact with anything, it can actually lead to a crash. And we don't want the game to crash. So what we're going to have to do is go back to our bullet scene and add a child that's called a VisibilityNotifier2D. And we're going to shrink it down to about where the bullet is. That's fine. And it has a signal saying screen entered, screen exited. We want that screen exited connected to the bullet. And this is just going to say Q free. So when the bullet does exit the screen, it will then disappear. And I can't really show you that. It's a little difficult to actually show you how that works, but you're just gonna have to trust me that it does work. I can actually, so let's print gone. Print gone. So as soon as it exits the screen, it will then print gone. So you saw, yep, okay. Show me over here. Yep. So you can see that as soon as the bullet exits the screen, that it says gone. And that about wraps it up for today. We went over collision layer, collision masks, projectiles, and VisibilityNotifier2D. So thank you for sticking around for the end of this video. This has been Ben Jammin from Jam Studios.